Hello, Lovelace. Welcome to today's English lesson, continuing our work on non-chronological reports and our particular focus on non-chronological reports about the Vikings. Today is all about making a start, actually getting on with the report proper. But more about that in a moment. Let's start with a little bit of grammar work again, focusing on particular groups of words. Now on the screen at the moment, we've got two groups of words, nouns and adjectives. Both of them should be reasonably familiar to you. You should know what a noun and an adjective are. But we're going to look into them in a little bit more detail over the next couple of lessons. First of all, the noun. A noun, as I'm sure you all know, is a word that identifies a person, place, thing, idea, or quality, such as woman, dog, building, London, truth, or bird. Okay? And in our example sentence, although he was tired, the young boy ran quickly into his bedroom to read a book. You can see there are three nouns there: the boy, the bedroom, and the book. Okay. And secondly, the second group of words are adjectives. And again, as I'm sure you're aware, adjectives are words that describe the noun. It's always good to use quality adjectives in our writing to help paint a really clear picture for our reader. So some adjectives, quite simple ones: red, bad, giant, hairy, and shy. But I'm sure you've got a far, far bigger vocabulary and far superior adjectives than that. We'll go into our example sentence. Although he was tired, the young boy ran quickly into his bedroom to read a book. Only one adjective in there, but it's a reasonably simple sentence, and it's describing the boy. So the adjective there is young. But today we're going to focus on nouns, on the different types of nouns that are out there. Now, they can be grouped into different types. We've got abstract nouns, concrete nouns, collective nouns, compound nouns, common nouns, and proper nouns. Now, how many of those six have you heard of before? If it's all six, then great, well done. If it's most of them, then that's what I would expect. There'll be a couple there that maybe you've not come across or came across briefly and have since forgotten about. But there's certainly some in there that you should be familiar with. So let's look at them in turn. First of all, the abstract nouns. Now, these are the ones you can't actually see. They've not got a physical presence. So if something is abstract, it exists only as a thought or an idea. It does not have a physical existence. Therefore, abstract nouns describe a thought or a state rather than something physical. Okay, so thoughts, emotions, things like that. Think about your five senses. An abstract noun is something you cannot touch, see, smell, taste, or hear. If you think about your five senses, if those five senses can't identify that noun, then it's an abstract noun. Okay. So bravery and friendship, they're abstract nouns. We know they exist, but they don't have a physical presence. We can't touch them, we can't see them, we can't smell them. Okay. So those are the abstract nouns. The concrete nouns are just the opposite. You can experience concrete nouns with your five senses. You do see them or hear them or smell them, taste them or feel them. Okay. These come under other types as well. So there's a lot of concrete nouns out there, and they do fall into other categories along the way, which I'll pick up as we touch on them. So bottle, car, they're concrete nouns. They've got a physical presence. You can touch them, you can hold them, see them, so on. Collective nouns, these are the words we use for groups of. So a collective noun names a group of things. Some things have got a special name for a group of them. For example, we talk about a class of pupils, a gaggle of geese, a flock of sheep, a nest of vipers, and a prickle of porcupines. I wonder how many other collective nouns you know. So the collective noun is the word in brown there. Okay. So it's the name we give to a group of something. Quite often it can be a special word for that particular object. Compound nouns. Now, compound noun is something that's made from two separate parts. Therefore, a compound noun is a noun that's been made from at least two separate words. Sometimes compound nouns use a hyphen to separate the two original words. Now, these are words that have just fallen into our vocabulary. We accept them as a single word, but if you actually look at them, break them apart, you can see that there's two nouns making up that word. So bedroom, toothpaste, dining table. And we think of bedroom as one word, which it is, but its origins are when it was the bed room, the room for the bed. Okay. And similarly, paste, toothpaste, it's paste for your teeth. So the two words were brought together to form a new word, but it's a compound word. It's where two words have been brought together. Common nouns. Now, a common noun is something that happens often. Common nouns are the names of general things. They are the opposite of proper nouns, which are specific things. So common nouns, everyday things, it's a something. So there's a whole list here: a table, a garden, a shop, a boy, a sink, and a school. They're not particular ones, so it's not a particular shop or a particular school. It's just a school. It's just a garden. Okay, so very general. We've not identified a particular example of those objects. Then the proper nouns is when we have identified a specific one. So a proper noun names something specific, usually something unique. So there's only one of it, like the name of a person, a brand, so a company label or logo, or a place. Proper nouns always begin with a capital letter, no matter where they are in a sentence. So we all know capital letters go at the beginning of our sentence, and hopefully a full stop will bring up the rear. But the only other time you use a capital letter in the middle of a sentence is for a proper noun. Okay, we've still got a few people who their natural handwriting allows capitals to sneak in, but they should only be appearing for these proper nouns. Words like London, Land Rover, Mr. Bradshaw. So London, obviously it's a place. There's only one London, so it's a proper noun, it gets a capital letter. Land Rover, the car company. Again, it's a brand name. It's a company, therefore it gets capital letters. And then person's name gets a capital letter. Okay. So here's a whole group. We've got 20 words here. Just take a moment now and just scan through and see if you can identify which ones of those are abstract, which are concrete, which are collective, which are compound, which are proper, and which are common nouns. Okay. Now, some of them might fall under two of those headings. Okay, so don't worry if you can't work out which one, it might be both. Pause the video now, just have a quick scan through and see if you can decide. Okay. Did you agree with me? So we've got hand, which is just a common noun. It's an everyday object. We're not talking about a particular hand, it's just a hand. But it's also a concrete noun because it's got a physical presence. You can touch it. Okay, so it's concrete and common. Africa, that's a place, and it's a particular place, so it's a proper noun. Team, a team of people, so it's a collective noun. It's a word we use for a group of. Hate, now that's an abstract noun. We can't physically see it. We might be able to see the behavior because someone hates something, but the actual emotion of hate you can't physically see, so it's an abstract noun. Class, we already mentioned, that comes under the collective nouns, a class of children. Okay. Happiness, again, something you can't physically see. You might be able to see the person's reaction to the emotion. So you might see a big smiling face or the laughter or skipping around. So you might be able to see those actions, but the actual emotion of happiness you can't see. So it's an abstract noun. Pack. Now, for this, I've gone for collective because we have a pack of wolves. Okay. So a pack is normally a collection of something. Fear, abstract. We can't actually see it, although we can see people's reactions to it. Handbag, this is a compound word. We could have also circled it as a common noun as well, because it's any old handbag, but it's a compound noun because we've brought together hand and bag. London, proper noun, we've already mentioned that one. Saturday is a proper noun. There's only one Saturday in the week. It's a special day because it's the first day out of school each weekend. So that's a proper noun and gets a capital. Table, common because it's a table. It could be any table, but concrete because you can touch it. Cairo, that's for those who didn't know, is the capital of Egypt. It's a place and therefore a proper noun. Friend is a common noun because we're not talking about a particular one. It's just a friend. So it's a common noun. Motorbike, compound. We brought together motor and bike. Again, it could come under common as well because you can physically touch it. Country, common noun. Piece, abstract, can't actually physically touch it. Shoal, so a shoal of fish, it's a group, so it's a collective noun. James is a person, he gets a capital letter, and family is a common noun because we are talking just generally about any family, not a particular one. Okay, hopefully that's all perfectly clear and you understand the subtle differences between each of those. Don't try and sort of remember all 6 of those, but if each of one of those terms comes up, then hopefully you'll have an idea as regards what it means and what particular qualities that noun, that word has. Okay, right. Our main task for today is all about you starting your non-chronological report. Up to this point, you have already got some notes together. And those notes, hopefully, are the starting point of you being able to write your complete report. Over the last 3 lessons, you should have got your planning notes together for paragraphs 1 and 2, your planning notes together for paragraphs 3 and 4. And then in our last lesson, I asked you to come up with your main title and your introductory paragraph, together with any pictures that you might want to include. So all that planning now should be complete. If you've fallen a little bit behind, then now is your chance to catch up, because I want you to now start your report proper. This is where you pad out all those sentences, you expand on your notes, you make it a really clear, comprehensive, and precise piece of information text. Okay, so just to read through your main task, to write the start of your non-chronological report. Now, you're going to have 2 lessons to do this. I'm going to basically give you the same brief tomorrow. So you're going to have 2 sessions to allow you to complete this activity. So you don't need to rush it. Work your way through gradually. Think about presentation. Remember, I need to be able to read this, so make sure your handwriting is nice and clear. Show us what you can do. Okay, I have seen some good writing, but I've also seen some pretty average writing as well. Now, I've given you lots of information about the Vikings, but there's a whole heap more out there. You can go online, you can find lots and lots and lots of other bits of information about the Vikings. You might be lucky enough to have some topic books at home that you can use. So don't feel you've got to just use the information I've given you. There might be some more out there. Okay. If you are taking information from the internet or from a topic book, remember what Mr. Hill told you about copyright. You can copy things across as long as you reference it, as long as you identify where you've got the information from, or better still, you write it in your own words. Okay, practicing doing that, writing in your own words, is a really good skill. You're going to need it a lot over the next few years of your learning. So let's remind ourselves of some of the things in our toolkit. First of all, these are all the blue boxes are the things you should be doing. These are the things that should be in your report. First of all, the title. What is the main title of your report? What's the whole thing about? I'm pretty sure the word Viking will be in there somewhere. But is it Viking life? Is the whole thing about Viking weaponry? Is it about what's it like to be a Viking? So a general title that covers the whole report. The introduction paragraph. Remember, this is the one, so it just gives a summary. It gives the reader an idea as to what they can expect. So it touches on all the information very, very briefly. Then you get to your main information paragraphs. They need a subheading, so just a mini title to go with each one. Again, so the reader can identify which paragraph they're reading and if it's the one they want. So it helps them search the report to find the information they need. That's followed up with the, where is it? The topic sentence down here. So each paragraph needs that topic sentence. It's another little summary. It's an introduction sentence that basically tells the reader what they're about to read in very, very basic terms. You then pad it out and add the detail later. Your topic sentence leads into your information paragraphs, of which you need 4. Each paragraph should contain different information to the one that follows. Now, your 4 paragraphs might be on a similar theme. So, using the weapons as an example, if your entire report is about weapons, then you might have 1 paragraph about farm tools that become weapons. You might have 1 paragraph about weapons designed to be weapons. You might have 1 paragraph about protective armor, helmets and shields and so on. And then you might have 1 paragraph about battle formations and how the weapons are used, for example. So each paragraph contains different information. Or you might be going completely general and each paragraph is very different. So 1 paragraph is about Viking foods, 1 paragraph is about Viking clothing, 1 paragraph is about Viking buildings, and 1 paragraph is about Viking boats. So clearly the information there will be very different. Okay. The other thing you need is your images or pictures. Now, whether you're lifting those from the internet or whether you're drawing them yourself, that's fine. And they should have a caption or a little phrase underneath to explain what they are. The only other 2 things there on our toolkit is the finishing paragraph and fact boxes. Finishing paragraphs, as I've mentioned, you don't need to do for this one because it's a history report and there's nothing for the reader to do as a result of this or to think about or to consider. So we don't need a finishing paragraph. And then the fact boxes are purely optional. If you would like to give some extra information that you've stumbled across, then that's great. It certainly brings a bit more life to your report and a bit more interest, but that's an optional one. Okay, and then on the right side of the page here in the green, you can see a reminder of just some of the punctuation that we can use. So we can use semicolons that just link 2 independent clauses. So they're closely related. We don't want to have 2 separate sentences, but we do recognize that these 2 clauses are linked, but we can't just join them together. We've got the colon that introduces a list. So as you come to the end of your sentence to start a list, we should have a colon. Remember, that's 2 dots. We've got a parenthesis, ways of adding extra information. 3 ways of doing that. We can use the brackets to add extra information. We can use the hyphens, or we can use commas. Any of those 3 will allow us to add a parenthesis, an extra bit of information. Those could be really useful in something like this. Fronted adverbials. So those words or short phrases at the beginning of our sentence that indicate to the reader where, when, how, or the order something took place. So first of all, that gives you order. So whilst crossing the sea to Britain would be the where. Okay. Long ago would be the when. So it's ways of starting a sentence to indicate or give that information of where, when, how, or in what order. Apostrophes, don't forget those if it's ownership. So if it's the Vikings boat, then Viking apostrophe S. And commas when you're putting a list together. Okay, so there's your complete toolkit. You should be doing most of the blue things. Remember, the only one to leave out is the finishing paragraph, and you might choose to leave out the boxes. But other than that, you should be doing all of these things. And I need 4 information paragraphs. And then the greens are just little punctuation reminders of what we can include in our report. Okay, remember, this page is available too if you want to, say, rewind the video, pause, print off if you're lucky enough to have access to a printer, jot down the key things to remind yourself. But basically, for the next 2 lessons, your job is to write a neat and really, really informative non-chronological report about the Vikings. Okay, guys, hope that's clear. That's the end of today's lesson. So take care of yourself, take care of those around you, stay safe, and I will see you very soon.